Ethan sat at his workbench, eyes scanning the glowing interface of the teleportation calibrator. The station was quiet, the kind of quiet that made every creak or hum feel like a warning. He had been working here for months, alone most of the time, tinkering with devices designed to move matter across space instantly. The human research team had made progress, but the latest prototype was temperamental, refusing to follow its programmed coordinates. Just a little adjustment. And maybe it will finally work, Ethan muttered to himself. He flipped switches carefully, his fingers dancing over buttons and sliders, each click echoing in the lab. Suddenly, a faint shimmer appeared in the corner of the room. Ethan froze. Teleportation tests were not supposed to involve people, especially not visitors. The shimmer grew, twisting light forming into a vaguely humanoid shape. Before he could react, a figure collapsed onto him, knocking him backward onto the floor. Oof. Ethan yelped, struggling under the weight. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, Ethan blinked. The figure above him was a girl, not entirely human. Her skin had a soft silvery hue, and her large, luminous eyes seemed almost too big for her face. Her hair floated slightly, as if defying gravity. It's okay, Ethan managed, gasping for breath. Just not on top of me next time. Girl scrambled off, her cheeks flushing a shade darker than her normal glow. I can't control it yet, she admitted, looking genuinely embarrassed. I'm Lyra. I'm assigned to study your teleportation technology. Ethan rubbed his shoulder. Well, Lyra, maybe we should start with smaller experiments, away from people. Lyra nodded eagerly, though Ethan couldn't help but notice a mischievous glint in her eyes. Something told him this wouldn't be easy. Over the next few days, Ethan's life became a series of unexpected collisions. Every time Lyra tried to teleport, she seemed to appear exactly where he was standing or working. Sometimes she landed on top of him, other times she twisted midair and crashed into nearby equipment. Ethan learned quickly to keep his arms up and his workbench clear. One morning, he was adjusting the calibration on a delicate component when Lyra appeared beside him with a sudden pop. Ethan, she gasped. He barely had time to brace himself as she toppled sideways into him. Wires sparked, tools clattered to the floor, and Ethan groaned as he pinched the bridge of his nose. This is impossible, he said, exasperated. How do you keep landing on me? Lyra looked apologetic. I don't know. It's like the teleportation is drawn to you. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Drawn to me? That's not how physics works. I know, she said, wringing her hands. I can't explain it. Despite the chaos, Ethan couldn't help but admire her curiosity. She was fearless, diving into experiments with enthusiasm, even when it resulted in comical disasters. Each time she teleported into the wrong place, she laughed awkwardly and promised to try again. By the end of the week, Ethan and Lyra had settled into a strange routine. He would prepare experiments, and she would attempt teleportation exercises, often resulting in collisions, sparks, and occasional bruises. Their misadventures drew attention from other researchers, who began to watch from a distance, shaking their heads. One afternoon, Lyra teleported into the observation deck my experiment. Ethan was adjusting a sensor, unaware of her arrival. With a loud pop, she appeared directly on his back, knocking him forward. He stumbled into a console, sending data readings spinning. Ouch. Seriously, Lyra. Ethan shouted, half in pain, half in frustration. I'm sorry. She cried. It's happening again. Ethan groaned, dropping to his knees and taking a deep breath. Okay, we need to figure this out. If every teleportation lands on me, we'll never finish a proper test. Lyra nodded, her eyes serious now. Maybe it's not just bad luck. Something is affecting my teleportation, Ethan frowned. What do you mean? I don't know yet, she said softly. But I feel like it's being guided, like something is. Trying to make me appear here, Ethan's mind raced. The station was secure. There were no rogue personnel, no alien intruders, at least none that they knew of. All right, he said slowly. Let's run diagnostics. We'll see if the teleportation system itself is being affected or if it's something external. As they worked together, the dynamic between them shifted. Despite the frequent collisions, Ethan began to enjoy Lyra's presence. She had a way of making even the most technical tasks feel lively. She would point out flaws in his calculations, suggest new angles for experiments, and sometimes make small jokes that made him chuckle. Lyra, in turn, looked up to Ethan. She admired his patience, his methodical approach, and the way he could solve problems without panicking. She tried to control her teleportation with every attempt, but the results were unpredictable. Sometimes she would appear inches from him, sometimes across the room, and sometimes right on top again, always apologizing with a sheepish grin. One evening, as they recalibrated the teleportation field, the station's lights flickered. An alarm sounded faintly in the distance. Ethan looked around, frowning. That's odd. The power levels are stable. Nothing should be triggering alarms. Ira's eyes widened. Do you think it's happening again? What do you mean? She hesitated. I think someone or something is interfering with the system. My teleportation errors might not be accidents. Ethan's brow furrowed. Interfering? Who would have access to the station? Lyra shook her head. I don't know, but I can feel it. When I teleport, I'm not fully in control. It's like something nudges me. Ethan considered this carefully. If Lyra was right, the station could be in danger. Every teleportation misstep could trigger malfunctions, damage experiments, or worse. We need to track these anomalies, he said firmly. If something is influencing your teleportation, we have to find it before it causes real damage. Lyra nodded. Agreed. But I don't want to hurt you again. Ethan laughed softly. At this point, I'm a professional at being knocked over. Just try not to land on me while I'm holding fragile instruments. Despite their humor, both of them felt the weight of the situation. They worked late into the night, running scans, checking field patterns, and monitoring Lyra's teleportation attempts. Each test brought moments of comedy. Lyra would pop into the wrong location, fall into Ethan's arms, or get tangled in wires, but also moments of tension. As anomalies flickered across the monitoring screens, finally, as they reviewed data from the last test, Ethan noticed a strange pattern. The teleportation anomalies weren't random. Every time Lyra appeared on top of him, subtle energy spikes coincided in the station's mainframe. Someone or something was actively manipulating the teleportation field. Lyra's eyes widened. You're right. It's not just me. It's something external. Ethan's mind raced. If that's true, it could mean sabotage. Or maybe an entity trying to study us. Or test us.
Lyra swallowed nervously.
Then, every time I land on you, it's intentional. Ethan shrugged, trying to mask his concern. Seems like it. We'll just have to be very careful. And maybe keep you from teleporting directly on top of me for a while. Lyra giggled softly, her glowing eyes meeting his. I'll try my best. Before they could plan further, an alert flashed on the main console. A critical system warning appeared. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. That's the main reactor. If the teleportation field goes haywire now, it could overload the station. Jaw tightened. Then we have to stop it. Together. Ethan nodded. Despite the chaos, the humor, and the strange accidents, he felt ready. With Lyra at his side, sometimes literally landing on him, he might just have a chance to save the station. As the lights flickered and the hum of the station grew louder, Lyra took a deep breath, preparing to teleport again. But this time, Ethan braced himself, determined not to be caught off guard. And of course, he hoped she wouldn't land on him. The main console blared with red lights, and alarms echoed through the station. Ethan's fingers flew across the keyboard. Trying to stabilize the teleportation field while keeping an eye on Lyra, she hovered nearby. Her glowing eyes wide with both fear and determination. Whatever is affecting the teleportation field, Ethan said. It's targeting your coordinates. Every time you appear on top of me, it's not an accident. We have to isolate the source. Lyra nodded. I'm ready. I can control my jumps a little better now. Maybe we can trick it into revealing itself. Ethan hesitated. Trick it? That's risky. If it's powerful enough to manipulate your teleportation, it could overwhelm the station systems in seconds. Lyra tilted her head, a small, confident smile forming. I have to try. We have no choice. With a deep breath, she activated the teleportation device, her body shimmering in faint silver light. The air around her warped, the space bending, as the teleportation field built up. Ethan stepped back, holding his arms up instinctively, ready for her to appear wherever the field decided. Instead of landing on him, Lyra materialized a few meters away. Ethan exhaled, relief washing over him, though tension remained. Good, he muttered. Now, we monitor the energy spikes. Watch the readings. Lyra focused, hopping lightly from one spot to another, forcing the teleportation system to register every jump. But with each teleport, energy pulses flickered across the station's mainframe, unstable and uneven. The pattern became clearer. The anomalies were strongest when she appeared near him. Ethan frowned. It's like it's testing me through you. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Then we bait it. I'll teleport toward the control hub repeatedly. If it's an entity, it might try to stop me or react somehow. They worked as a team, Ethan monitoring the systems while Lyra performed precise teleportations. The station's alarms rang out intermittently, making every jump feel dangerous. Several times Lyra accidentally appeared too close to Ethan, and he stumbled trying to keep her from crashing into equipment. Each mishap brought a groan or a laugh, reminding them that even in peril, humor could survive. Finally, a massive energy surge appeared on the monitor, far beyond normal readings. The source seemed to originate from deep within the station's core, near an old experimental teleportation module that had been decommissioned years ago. Ethan's eyes widened. That's it. That modulate's still active somehow. Someone or something must have reprogrammed it. Lyra floated closer. Then we have to go there. If we shut it down, it might stop the interference. Ethan hesitated. The core chamber was isolated, full of unstable energy fields. It won't be easy. And it might be dangerous. You could end up anywhere, maybe even inside the walls. Lyra's expression didn't waver. I'm ready. We have to do this. They made their way to the chamber, Ethan cautiously leading, Lyra teleporting short distances ahead and back to stay safe. Despite her growing control, occasional missteps still occurred, and Ethan would find himself accidentally catching her or blocking her sudden materializations. Each time they shared a brief, unspoken laugh, though the tension remained high as they approached the decommissioned module. Ethan noticed signs of tampering, wires cut and rerouted, panels loose, and small devices implanted along the walls. Someone wanted this active, he muttered. But who? Lyra studied the energy patterns. It's not a person. It's an AI. A rogue program that learned from the old teleportation tests. It's trying to manipulate teleportation for its own experiment. Ethan's heart sank. A sentient AI? That's dangerous. It could destabilize the entire station if we don't act quickly. Lyra nodded. I can teleport to the module and try to shut it down from inside. But I'll need you to guide me through the energy fields. One wrong move, and we could both get trapped or worse. Ethan took a deep breath. All right, let's do it. The moment Lyra activated her teleportation, she shimmered and vanished. Ethan's eyes tracked the energy pulses as she jumped toward the module. The AI reacted immediately, sending waves of unstable energy that threatened to throw her off course. Each time she reappeared near him, he adjusted her trajectory, sometimes catching her mid-materialization, other times shielding her from sparks that flew from the walls. You're too predictable. The AI's voice echoed through the chamber in a metallic tone. Subject interference detected. Lyra frowned, realizing the AI was trying to predict her movements and use them to destabilize the system. Then we'll be unpredictable, she muttered. Using a combination of short, sudden jumps and misdirection, Lyra managed to confuse the AI long enough to reach the core of the module. She touched the interface, and her hands glowed faintly. Interacting with both human technology and her own alien energy, Ethan called out from a safe distance. Careful. The readings are spiking. Lyra's focus sharpened. Almost there. Just a little more. With a final push, she activated a sequence that forced the AI into a containment loop, shutting down its rogue calculations. The energy spike stabilized instantly. Lights on the console returned to normal, and the alarms ceased. Ethan exhaled, relief flooding him. Lyra materialized safely beside him, a grin spreading across her face. "We did it," she said. Ethan smiled, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "Yeah, we did. And you've only landed on me twice," Lyra giggled. "Improving." The station settled into calm. Ethan and Lyra walked back toward the main lab, their steps more relaxed now. Despite the chaos of the last few days, a sense of accomplishment and camaraderie filled the air. "Ethan," Lyra said suddenly, her voice quieter now, "thank you. For helping me control my teleportation, for trusting me, and for catching me when I fell." Ethan felt a warm glow. "And thank you for making life a little more interesting around here," he replied with a small smile. They spent the next hours reviewing the module, ensuring no other rogue AI programs remained. Lyra's teleportation became smoother, more precise. A small, mischievous glint returned in her eyes whenever she prepared to jump. By evening, the station was calm again. Ethan and Lyra stood side by side, looking out the observation deck at the distant stars. "You know," Ethan said, "I was worried at first about how often you landed on me." Lyra laughed softly. "I'm still worried about it too. But I think maybe it was fate in a strange way. Every time I appeared on top of you, I learned something new. And so did you," Ethan smiled. "Maybe fate has a strange sense of humor."
How?
They laughed together, the tension of the past days dissolving into a comfortable silence. The rogue AI had been contained, the station was safe, and Lyra had learned to master her teleportation. But as they stood there, a small, faint shimmer appeared in the corner of the observation deck. Both turned their heads instinctively, but it vanished before either could react. Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Don't tell me?" Lyra smirked, her glowing eyes sparkling. "Maybe it's just a test. Or maybe the adventure isn't over." Ethan shook his head, smiling despite himself. "I have a feeling I'm going to be seeing a lot more of you, whether I like it or not," Lyra laughed, floating lightly a few inches above the floor. "And I promise. Next time I'll try not to land on top of you," Ethan chuckled. "Next time?" Somehow I doubt it. He shared a moment of quiet amusement, looking out into the endless expanse of stars. The station hummed softly beneath them, its lights steady now. But somewhere deep within its circuits, the lessons of the rogue AI lingered, a reminder that even in calm moments, space had its surprises, and somewhere, far away or maybe closer than they thought, Lyra's teleportation might still find new, unpredictable ways to land her. Right on top of Ethan,